Now I'm going to tell you why Joseph is my new favorite. Because Joseph respects the fact that I'm never late. I'm exactly on time, all the time, perpetually. If everyone's here before me, it just means you're early. And even when it's past midnight, I am still never late. I'm really glad we've come to this agreement, Joseph. All right. Well, I hemmed and hawed about whether or not to do this stream, and I'll give people a moment to come in. But the reality is that there's some stuff that happened today that I haven't had a chance to watch yet because I was doing other things. And I thought if I'm going to watch it anyway, I may as well watch it with friends. So we're going to go back and watch what happened today with the faculty walkout at Columbia. There's been some other developments since then, and while we're kind of waiting for people to file in, I thought I would take you guys through the list of other developments. Now, there was some excellent meme making about James Lindsay in the community Zoom earlier. I do want to, I don't think that James listens to people who are mentally unhinged, right? And so James probably doesn't realize that I have an entire community of people that are just as dedicated to haranguing his ass as I am, and I am but the vessel. I feel as though I'm just platforming the excellent memes that keep sliding into my DMs, and there was definitely some good memes that were made tonight on the community Zoom. Oh, check this out! Check this out! This did you guys hear this story about this Columbia professor today? This is a Jewish Columbia professor that made this big old deal about how they deactivated his card and they wouldn't let him on campus, and he had conservatives screaming anti-Semitism all day long, even though we all know, because we're smarter than conservatives and God knows James Lindsay, this has nothing to do with anti-Semitism at all. This has to do with abolishing capitalism. Israel is the placeholder for the evil capitalist, the bourgeois, the colonist settler, the oppressor, etc., etc. That's what they care about. They don't care about Jewish people, but never let a good crisis go to waste. And this Jewish professor at Columbia made a whole big stink today about how they wouldn't let him on campus. Well, guess what? Look in this video. He has socialist tattoos. He has socialist tattoos. He has the black and white line tattoos on his arm of like all the random stuff. This is a socialist thing. Not all socialists have these tattoos, and not everyone who has these types of tattoos are socialist. But listen, man, I've been around tattoo subcultures like for the better part of my adult life, and it's not like every single community has this thing where they have black line tattoos of like random shit all over their arms. And so it's not a surefire thing. It's not. But anytime I see someone that's acting like a leftist, that's talking like a leftist, that's presenting himself as a leftist, that may or may not be Jewish, and I see the black line tattoos on the arms, and it's like random black line tattoos with random stuff. I'm like, socialist tattoos, and this guy has socialist tattoos. I'm just saying. What else happened today? Oh, another excellent meme of James. Excellent work. I forget who did that. Let's see. Another excellent meme. This is getting the most rave reviews of all the memes that were posted today. I think this about sums up what we're dealing with. Yep. The anti-Semitism BS will be the undoing of the conservative movement, as far as I can tell, not to mention the things they decide to campaign on. Yo, they're pissing so many people off, and they're in an echo chamber, and they don't realize it. Let's see. Another good meme. Another one. Yep. Excellent work, guys. Let's see what else happened today. Oh, did you guys hear? Check this out. Dogs are slammed as settler colonial as pooches and owners blame gentrifying New York City by woke activists. So congratulations to dogs. Dogs are now oppressors, settler colonists in New York for reasons. And I read the New York Post article and I still haven't quite figured out the reasons yet. But reasons. What else? What else? Let's see. They arrested all the oh, wait, hang on, we'll get to that in a second. So this was an additional faculty walkout that happened today at Barnard, which is associated with Columbia. This is on the University of North Carolina, Charlotte, so there's an encampment that's popped up there. Oh, yo, hey God. Side note, I now know way more about James O'Keefe's sex life than I ever wanted to know. In fact, I cannot show you this thread from Kyle Seraphin because if I showed you this thread from Kyle Seraphin, I don't know that this stream would be able to stay on YouTube because there was a lot of information in this thread by Kyle Seraphin about the private life of James O'Keefe. And I have to say, as someone who has been on James O'Keefe's ass for the better part of the last year, and by the way, I was the only person to figure out that James O'Keefe was not excommunicated from Project Veritas in some evil campaign by Pfizer, that James O'Keefe mismanaged a metric ton of money from Project Veritas and was given the opportunity to pay it back, and instead threw a massive hissy fit and blew up the company because he was pissed off that he got called out. And I've covered all this before. But you know, man, karma always comes. Karma always comes. And Kyle Seraphin, and I don't know exactly why he's pissed off at James O'Keefe, but Kyle Seraphin is definitely pissed off at James O'Keefe. And somehow Kyle Seraphin got access to James's private messages. James said some stuff. Some things were said to James. Words I cannot repeat. Like scenarios about James O'Keefe fucking on the wall with the Project Veritas logo in the office. And I DM'd with Kyle a little bit because I know some things from the many conversations I've had with many Project Veritas employees. So I DM'd Kyle some things. I'm like, do you know about this? Do you know about this? Do you know about this? And Kyle was like, don't worry. I have more. There's more coming. And I was like, oh God. So that was fun. No, James O'Keefe did not fuck. Well, I don't know that James O'Keefe didn't fuck the wall. He might have. James O'Keefe fucked on the Project Veritas wall, the one you always would see in the video. He like apparently fucked someone on the logo wall in the office. There's many other things in that thread too, yo. James O'Keefe, James commissioned a custom clip piercing. I swear to God. I can't believe I just said that on the internet. James O'Keefe commissioned a custom clip piercing. Oh. Okay. It's quite a thread. It is not safe for work. If you feel so inclined to read it, I'll just put it in the chat one more time. If you feel so inclined to read it, God have mercy on your soul or something. Anyway, what else happened today? Let's see. Oh, so the protesters at NYU all got arrested. And so, hang on. We got to talk about this. We got to talk about our friend Poetry Painter. We got to talk about Poetry Painter real quick. Yes, Poetry Painter has had another moment. Drama update. So, Poetry Painter, earlier today, one of my supporters, I have to talk about this. I have to. Earlier today, one of my supporters commented on a Mythinform post. And let me just show you what happened. So Mythinform tweets, these people are Marxists, whatever. This person says, I'd like to note Carlin is also quite on the nose about these communists and their influence on culture. Recently, she's been ringing the alarm bells that no one else is. Now, according to Poetry Painter, no one is ever allowed to say nice things about me on the internet. And in any conversation where someone is saying something nice about me, Poetry Painter, who is constantly refreshing tweets about me in an incognito window or on a sock account, like all day, she responded to this within minutes. Poetry Painter has to slide into the conversation and be like, you like Carlin? Ew. So, in response to this rather mundane tweet saying, I'd like to write on the nose about these communists and their influence on culture, recently she's been ringing the alarm bells that no one else is. Poetry Painter says, that's actually bullshit. And it's also laughable. Some of us, and I do include myself and James, because remember, the reason we're talking about Poetry Painter is James Lindsay has seen fit to view Poetry Painter as a credible source of information about me. So she's best friends with James. Myself and James were sounding the alarm about communism when Carlin was still a leftist. It was only about 6 years ago she was still kissing Pete Buttigieg. And then my supporter responded, I don't necessarily disagree that she's newer. I don't care about gatekeepers, only good information. Never said y'all didn't sound the horn about communism. I love James and all the work he's done. You just point to different things. So calm down. And then Poetry Painter says, look, Carlin has joined and alienated several groups since she left the left, which isn't true. I aligned myself with a group of retard content creators that were always beneath me, and I should have known it from the beginning. And it is entirely that one group of retarded content creators that has caused all the problems. But Poetry Painter does have a loose relationship with the truth. Carlin lies. Carlin attacks good people all the time. Some of Carlin's info is not even correct. She has zero principles. The drama is Carlin. And then my supporter responds, I'll judge for myself from a large sample of sources what I think is valid or not. It's impossible to get everything right, so shrug. I appreciate that you're passionate about it. You do show up quite a bit in replies when she's mentioned, so it's clearly not just her. And then Poetry Painter responded again. She just posted a picture of me taken from 12 years ago. Poetry Painter, of course, is referring to this picture because every once in a while, if Poetry Painter is going to be a pain in the ass for no good reason, I'm going to post the picture I have of her on Twitter because for some reason, and I just can't figure out why, she doesn't like this picture being shown on the internet, which is ironic for reasons I'm going to explain in a moment. Anyway, back to this, and we're going to get to the, we're just letting people file in, guys. We're going to get to the real show in a minute. She just posted a picture of me taken from about 12 years ago. That is a photo from my private Facebook page. Remember that, please. Remember that. of myself and a great niece and nephew on Super Bowl Sunday. She tries to say that I'm a pedo when she posts that pic. It's just her. And then this person says, as far as I'm concerned, no one online is sane. I don't care about your personal conflict with Carlin. You came into my replies talking about her. She didn't drop in talking about you. So it's a hard sell, and I'm frankly not interested in any of your drama. Have a good week. And then Poetry Painter says, did you know that Carlin was on the warpath against James Lindsay when you came here to an X post about him to promote her? And then the supporter says, yeah, I know she has her gripes with them. They aren't mine. Her anti-communist and socialist watching content is pretty solid. I'm not here for middle school drama. So as this was going on, I posted this picture of Poetry Painter. And then you notice that she tries to make it seem, well, actually, let me show you the other thing. Hang on. Wait, not that. Not that one. That's not the one I wanted to scroll. Hang on. We'll come back to that. Let's go here. And we'll go to Poetry Painter's profile now. Now, this is pinned to the top of Poetry Painter's profile because now she's going to spend some time complaining about the fact that I posted a publicly available picture of her. And let me just prove it's publicly available before I do this, because this is Poetry Painter's Facebook profile. The reason that I know that this is Poetry Painter's Facebook profile is back in 2020, Poetry Painter DM'd me on Facebook through her Facebook profile to ask me to do an AMA on Reddit. And I didn't know then that Poetry Painter was a psycho. So I said yes, and I did the AMA on Reddit, etc., etc. Well, then Poetry Painter started sliding into my DMs on Twitter all the time, demanding to basically censor what I could and could not talk about. Now, you guys know that's not going to go over well with me, and I told her to fuck off. And then I blocked her, and then she created another account and slid into my DMs again because she thought I blocked her by mistake, but I didn't block her by mistake. I actually meant to block her, and she started again demanding to censor my language. And I was like, no, block. And ever since then, this woman has been stalking every single thing I do on the internet. So that's how I know that this is her Facebook profile. And if she doesn't like that I'm showing her publicly available Facebook profile, then perhaps she should have thought of that before she doxed my friends on the internet. But that's not even the point I want to make, because I'm not under my Facebook profile right now. I'm under a sock account. I am not friends with Jill. And you guys can check too. I'll put her Facebook profile link in the chat. Someone can fact check me, because I'm not friends with her on this profile. But what I can do on this publicly available Facebook page, and look at Jill. What I can do on this publicly available Facebook page that I am not friends with under my sock account is go to the photos section. And in the photos section, I can scroll. And you notice Jill has a lot of publicly available photos in the photo section, including the offending photo, which you can confirm up here via seeing the globe icon next to the date. The globe icon means publicly available. And there are a lot of other publicly available photos of Jill as well. So if Jill doesn't like that photo, we could show off the rest of Jill's publicly available photos. I mean, Jill could have been a pretty girl. It was a long time ago. Could have been a pretty girl. So this is all publicly available. So I don't know why Poetry Painter is on Twitter lying about the fact that this is all publicly available. So this is pinned to the top of our page, and we're going to get started with our watch party after this. I promise. She says, I'm glad Carlin has done this again. On another chance to, it's another chance to say that no one should ever trust her to keep anything confidential. At one point, when I thought she was sane, I followed her on Facebook. My account there is not public. Well, Jill, Facebook itself begs to differ about that, Jill. Facebook begs to differ. After I realized she was insane, she had struck back by publicly doxing me and repeatedly sharing a picture taken by my nephew 12 years ago on Super Bowl Sunday. This is a family picture from my private Facebook page. Except that it's not private. It's not private at all. Jill doesn't know how to use Facebook. It's publicly available. Public. I am seated with my great niece and nephew. The caption says, my kiddos snuggling with their aunt on Super Bowl Sunday. Sometimes Carlin likes to post this picture and claim it's pedo stuff, which is rich considering that one of her ex-boyfriends and soulmate went to jail for involvement in child porn. Anyway. That's another thing I posted about on Twitter tonight. And then we talked about the that NYU is now arresting the protesters and they carted them all off to jail. But what I thought was especially great is after NYU arrested the protesters, you'll see this post from the Babylon Bee. Where the heck was it? There's definitely a Babylon Bee. Here, Babylon Bee, or not the Bee, excuse me, had already declared that, okay, the NYU protesters are arrested. It's all over, guys. Great job. You've already defeated communism. And they made this big thing about the NYU protest is basically over, guys. It's basically over. Except you guys know, because you watch me, that when they bring the cops in, it just pisses people off. And so this is the now protest has moved to the police station where they are all waiting to welcome back all of the NYU people who were arrested, and they're all going to be setting up again tomorrow. Watch what happens. I told people this would happen because socialists hate the cops. There is nothing more than socialists hate the cops. There is nothing that you can do to piss off socialists more than get the cops involved. And the protester is going to be even bigger tomorrow. And you're going to watch what happens. You're going to see. Let's see. A couple other things went on. You can find out all this info. Oh, breaking news. Incel blames women who have too high standards for why he is an incel while saying he will not date ugly women and only wants extremely hot girls. Breaking news. Anyway, that's enough. That's probably way too much more preamble than I actually needed. Let's get into our watch party, shall we? Let us get into our watch party and see what happened to Columbia today. I don't know how long I'm going to watch this. It's certainly not going to be 4 hours, but I want to rewind a little bit and see what happened.
Encampments are springing up all around the country. Organizations from around the country are joining us here. I want you to remember.
Good. I'm going to fast forward.
These difficult times that you are. Physical and psychological scars of the brutality that we experience.
Not good. Let's just go right to the faculty walkout. Okay, here's where... Is this where the faculty walkout starts?
Free Palestine! From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
Palestine will be free!
From the river to the sea!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
Palestine will
We're not watching the whole thing, don't worry.
To the river!
From the sea to the river!
Palestine will live forever!
Palestine will live forever!
Thank you!
stop, we will not rest. Disclose, divest. We will not stop, we will not rest. Disclose, divest. We will not stop, we will not rest. Look at those masks. Look at the good students masking.
Disclose, divest. We will not stop, we will not rest. Disclose, divest. We will not stop, we will not rest.
I saw something about it, Jenny, but I didn't watch it.
And on that front, we have some breaking news.
Breaking news.
Let's get excited. We have some breaking news.
Breaking news, guys. Breaking news.
Columbia College students have voted for divestment and academic boycott.
Academic boycott? They're voting to academically boycott?
We have the democratic will of the student body, with 77% of voters in favor of financial divestment. 68% of voters in favor of the cancellation of Tel Aviv Global Center. And 66% of voters in favor of ending the dual degree program with Tel Aviv University.
Wow.
With all of this, it is clear that divestment is inevitable. We're going to close out with one more chant. I believe. That we will win. We will win. I believe that 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 we will win. And when we shout, divestment is inevitable, free Palestine. Thank you for coming out.
Yes, I'll get you the faculty letter. No, he's not right now.
Oh, this is a faculty rally?
All right, faculty rally it is.
Okay.
They all just showed up in their row.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right.
I saw you. Charge.
I didn't eat dinner until.
We are going to the steps for the faculty rally, so just bear with us.
It's not very popular among. Hey.
He did. He didn't join us.
Are you in like Alma Mater?
I wonder why they're up here.
Sorry.
Oh, here are the faculty. The Studying and Brave faculty. Hands off our students. Probably not. Socialist. Probably not. Do I think something will happen in Florida? I don't know. I mean, that's a really good question. They definitely have been teed up about Florida for a while, but I mean, probably at colleges and well, maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, this is Columbia.
Hey guys in front, if you don't mind coming down. Yeah, no one gets up.
We switched the inputs on this thing.
So they're doing a photo op. All right, let's fast forward a little bit. See if we can get to some action. Oh, here we go.
Okay, thank you so much for gathering today. Louder! I'll be as loud as I can. Can you hear me?
God, I wish I was there so bad.
Close to my mouth.
I love being at stuff like this.
My
I
name
know
is
it's kind of
Julie
dangerous,
Crawford,
but like
and
I
I'm
love
a
it.
professor of English and Comparative Literature in the Core. I've taught at Columbia University for the better part of 25 years. There will be 5 faculty members speaking today, and each of us will speak for. Yep. Got you. There will be 5 faculty. Yeah, there will be 5 faculty members speaking today, and each of us will speak for approximately 2 minutes. Don't do the whole thing. In total, we plan to speak for less than half an hour to ensure that those of us who teach at 2:40 can make it on time.
Can I go by
We want to be perfectly clear that we will not be speaking today about our own political views.
Oh,
nor
definitely
those of
not,
any
lady. Come
particular
on.
faculty group, nor those, of course,
Yep.
of the
You
faculty
guys
as a
definitely don't have
whole.
political views,
The
that's for
Columbia
sure.
faculty who gathered today are a large and diverse group, and our political opinions vary widely. There are some who completely
They're all
support
into
the
it. If
content
they're
of
here,
what
they're
the
into it.
professors are saying and doing. Some who vehemently disagree.
I
and
doubt that
people
strongly.
who hold every position in between. However, we are united in our outrage that the NYPD came to our campus at the behest of the university president.
See? The police
without
really pissed them off.
Appropriate consultation with the faculty senate to arrest our students on the campus on which they study, work, and live.
Obviously.
In fact,
This is a Gnostic
this
sex
decision
cult.
disregarded the unanimous opposition of the faculty and students on the Senate Executive Committee, who refused to assent to the request to bring in police forces.
Have I championed the
president's
police,
action
or are
not
you
only
making
degraded
assumptions?
the mission of a great university, which is a place for learning and debate, and protest is a part of learning. But this decision subjected
Not
our
my
students
fault if you can't
and
understand
every
basic logic, bro.
single member of this
Or
community,
you can't understand what's going on.
staff, security guards,
I
people who
know,
work in the
right?
cafes
God.
and cafeterias, to an unnecessary escalation of turmoil, both inside and especially outside our gates. Our purpose today is very specific. We gather as a faculty coalition, loose as such faculty coalitions are and must be, for 3 positions which were developed during an emergency meeting held by the Barnard and Columbia chapter of the American Association of University Professors. Over 400 faculty members attended this meeting. The chair of the Barnard Columbia AAUP, Professor David Lurie, will introduce and read this statement. It is also available on the sheets of blue paper being handed out. I'm sorry.
They
we
all
don't
made
have
each
enough.
other paper
Thank you.
sashes. Do you see these? These are like paper sashes.
Thank you,
Like someone
Kelly.
ran to get a roll of like
My name is
calculator
David
tape
Lurie.
or something.
I'm a professor in the Department of East Asian Language and
Register
Culture.
tape.
I also teach in the Corps, and I am the president of the Columbia chapter of the American Association of University Professors. I will now read the declaration which we released this past Saturday following the mass emergency of the faculty held on the prior Friday, April 19th, 2024. We condemn, in the strongest possible terms, the administration's
Yep.
suspension of
I think
students
so.
engaged in
Yep.
peaceful protest and their arrest by the New York City Police Department. These acts violate the letter and spirit of the university statutes, shared governance, students' rights,
We're
and the
seeing the
university's
culmination of the long
absolute
march.
obligation
Yeah.
to defend students' freedom of speech
I
and
agree,
ensure their
Rottweiler.
safety.
It
We
is something,
demand-
isn't it? You know?
We demand that all Barnard College and Columbia University suspensions and charges be dismissed immediately and expunged from the students' records, and that all rights and privileges be restored to them immediately. Last, we demand that no disciplinary action be taken against any student protesters without due process, and that no police be permitted on campus without serious consultation with the Executive Committee of the University Senate. Thank you.
The fact that faculty even have a governance structure at universities is ridiculous. I'm sorry. It really is. It causes so much trouble.
Good afternoon.
Who's this?
I'm Christopher Brown, professor in the history department.
Oh, a history professor. Great.
This is the first time I've ever held a microphone at a protest of any kind. I'm not sure whether that's something to take pride in or not. But I say it because this is not typical for me. I'm here because I am so concerned about what has happened at this university, with where we are now, and with where we are going. Thursday, April 18, 2024, will be remembered as a shameful day in Columbia's history. The president's decision to send riot police to pick up peaceful protesters.
This happened
on our
earlier
campus
today.
Was unprecedented, unjustified, disproportionate, divisive, and dangerous.
Shame on us!
We are fortunate. We don't know how fortunate we are. We are fortunate that no one was hurt.
We were fortunate no one was hurt by the police.
With that kind of show of force, with all those firearms, all it takes is one person to get nervous, a table to fall, a car or truck to backfire on Amsterdam Avenue, shots fired. The New York Police Department does not belong on this campus except in genuine moments of extreme emergency.
The president's going to be forced out over this. I hope people understand that. It's not because of the anti-Semitism. It's not because of the protest. It's because of the cops.
In trying to show that they meant business, what they showed was their incompetence. So I want to say one other thing, and that's about the congressional testimony on Wednesday. And this is about academic freedom. It's also about Columbia.
Where are these robes from? I don't recognize
In
these.
3 hours of
The
testimony,
blue ones are Columbia. The red ones are
the president of
Harvard.
the university, to
I don't
my
know where
mind,
these are from.
showed no pride in our institution. She said nothing. She said nothing meaningful. She said nothing meaningful about the virtues of this institution, of its people, of its faculty, of its staff, of its researchers, their dedication to excellence, their commitment to their students, the quality of the undergraduates and graduate students that we have here. The distinctive record of academic accomplishment and impact, the variety and rigor of the scholarship which is happening here today, the prospects
I'm back. I did something stupid.
for continued excellence. She didn't say anything about any of those things.
I just did another stupid thing too. Holy shit. Hang on. Emergency.
She allowed slander of our institution to stand without rebuke. Soviet-style education.
I was getting
no
my
response.
hat. I should have my hat on.
Intolerant bigots, no
I
response.
wonder if I can actually make this work.
I know these folks. And you know them too. That's not who we are. And she should know that.
I can actually wear this with my. Hang on.
There were members of Congress who wanted to decide who should be disciplined on this institution and how much, what should be taught, how it should be taught, who should teach it, what academic departments should exist and which should not.
Now that I know I can wear this with my headphones,
Who should be
I'm wearing this
promoted,
all
who
the
should be
time with my
fired.
headphones.
Those are academic questions.
All
Those
the
are not
time.
congressional questions.
There's a new hat in town, okay?
What is at stake?
There's a new hat in town.
It's not just faculty governance, it's institutional
The TAM.
independence. It's the sovereignty of Columbia University and every university like this one.
Yes. Yeah. I'm going to wear this all the time now.
The United States has the greatest colleges and universities in the world. And that's why people come from around the world
Yep.
to study here,
Hang
to
on.
research here, and to
I
teach
got a
here.
PhD so I could wear a fancy
That's
hat
our
on the internet.
inheritance.
It's true.
The universities like this one. And we would be fools not to defend it in every quarter for those who do not believe in the academic.
Oh, this makes me
mission
look
and
smarter?
pursuit of academic excellence.
That's good. Yep.
So I have no confidence in her leadership. I'm speaking
Solidarity.
only for myself. I have no confidence in the president's leadership. With what she has said, and with what she has not said, and with what she has done, and what she has not done,
Mm-hmm.
she has forfeited
Very
the privilege
velvety,
to lead
very
this great
poofy.
university.
That's a hard act to follow. Thanks, Chris.
See, they got a better hat, though. They got a bigger hat than I did.
My name is Maria Regarli. I'm a professor of education at Barnard College, chair of the Barnard Faculty Governance and Procedures Committee, and an alumna of Barnard College and Teachers College. I spent 11 years on this campus as a student, and I've now spent 19 years on this campus as a faculty member. Columbia University and Barnard College are first and foremost educational institutions. Students come here from all over the country
Thank you,
and
Janet.
all
Appreciate it.
over the world to be educated. The word education comes from the Latin educare,
Yep.
which means
Teachers
to
college, the
lead
most
out.
woke teachers college in the country.
How are we leading our students out? In zip ties?
Yep,
Blanks
that's a good point,
by
guys. Let's get
police
those numbers up.
officers
Mount the like, please.
who noted that they encountered students demonstrating peacefully, not students who were a clear and present danger to themselves or others. Where are we leading students out? To buses? To police stations? For summonses? To bunker down in their dorms and refuse to leave because they have nowhere else to go? To their friends' couches or floors? To take shelter in faculty housing because they were rendered homeless in the city of New York? To disciplinary hearings for infractions of university rules? Is
That's
this
original,
what it means
Human
to
Centipede.
be an educational
How very James O'Keefe of you.
institution? Is this what it means to lead students out? From the beginning of this crisis, our educational leaders have failed to provide balanced and caring messaging that acknowledges the real grief of our students and faculty on all sides of this issue.
All sides, you hear? All sides. All sides matter, guys.
And their commitment to helping all of us get through these difficult times. Our educational leaders and trustees are running scared of outside forces that should have no place in the day-to-day work of knitting together a community of educators, staff, and administrators committed to our educational mission. The lockdowns, barricades, ID screening, restrictions, policies, disciplinary processes have only added to the polarization, the fear, the distrust, and the animosity on this campus. How are we leading our students out or letting our students lead us out? We demand the following: an immediate apology and amnesty for all students who have been suspended and clearing of their disciplinary records.
Yep, the faculty all walked out today.
An immediate rollback of university and college rules that restrict the time, place, and manner of assembly and freedom of expression. Without which our students would not be subject to such draconian methods. An immediate affirmation of the fundamental identity, mission, and goals of the university and its colleges as educational institutions.
Like the
that
protest
share
in general,
an
are you
unwavering
asking? Or the
commitment
stream?
to the pursuit of knowledge,
Two very different
freedom
questions.
of assembly, freedom of expression, academic freedom, due process, and shared student and faculty governance.
All right, hang on, let me pause this. I kind of answered this on the stream earlier today, but I don't think you were there, Amelia. So I think the only hindrance to the protests going on is the fact that students are about to leave campus. Like, graduation is in a couple of weeks. Most students leave campus prior to graduation. Every major campus has students around for the summer, but it's not as many students as are there during the year. Now, that doesn't actually have to mean anything because maybe a bunch of Columbia students live in New York. They don't have to go home. They can just keep on camping out on the campus. Maybe like a bunch of people who are taking summer classes just continue camping out on the campus. But I really think like the biggest thing that's going to stop the protests right now is just the calendar, because a lot of them are going to be going home. Maybe it'll have an impact. Maybe it won't. Maybe they'll just transfer where they're doing the protest. Who really knows? But I don't think the administrations are going to be stopping the protests anytime soon. None of them have any idea what they're dealing with. And so I think these could go on indefinitely. And it's also one of those things that maybe the protests stop on campuses, but they transfer elsewhere. Like there's been protests in New York all along. So I don't know. I guess we'll see. Are they not worried about DEI being attacked because they already have institutional power? Yeah, that's exactly right. It doesn't matter if they attack DEI. DEI is so low level. This is what conservatives don't understand, because Chris Rufo has blown this up into the end all be all. It does not matter if you get DEI out of every university. It doesn't matter. First of all, because they're going to change the name and they're going to deliver the training in another way. They just won't have formal DEI offices, but they were delivering this type of training way before they had DEI offices. So they'll just change the name of it. They'll do it in a sneakier way, like whatever. But it doesn't even matter because they already control the institutions. They not only do they already control the institutions, they've been doing about 15 years of destabilization efforts. And so they're already moving into like the last phase before the Marxist revolution, which is the concerted attacks on capitalism. This is why we see all the protests focusing around decolonizing the land. Decolonizing the land means removing the oppressive force of capitalism. They're already so far ahead that at this point, I don't think there's anything that anyone can do to stop them. And so people saying that if we just get DEI out of higher ed, that's going to solve everything. It's not going to solve anything. It's just like, I'm not saying it means nothing, but it doesn't, it's like a drop in the bucket of what would be required to actually solve the problem. And no one is willing to do what's required to actually solve the problem. Sad to say. Good questions though, guys.
To all our students, I want to say that we are your faculty. We love you. We stand
That's weird.
with you. We support you. And we decry an administration that would deny students shelter and sustenance and seek to discipline and punish over educating you. Thank you.
Good afternoon. And happy Earth Day.
Oh, Earth Day.
My name is Hillary Callahan. I'm a professor of biology at Barnard College. I'm also a proud graduate of Yale University, mid-1980s. I'm a botanist, but today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about legal history.
A botanist. You don't meet many botanists nowadays.
Clarence Darrow. Clarence Darrow is famous for defending John Scopes in Dayton, Tennessee in 1925.
They're comparing this to the Scope monkey trial.
That
really?
trial remains an emblem of how wrong it is to treat teachers as pawns and scapegoats. Today, Earth Day, we insist otherwise.
Yep, T-Bone Man, great point.
On science and factual evidence. We insist on delineating the boundaries of certainty and uncertainty. We insist on honest, open, and difficult discourse aggressively manicured lawn. That traipsing was met with an intemperate and regrettable response. And ever since, the faculty have been working with others to work tirelessly to undo that error.
Yo, Amelia, I feel this so hardcore. The
That's
struggle
why
is
our
real.
priority
They
today
drive me
is the
insane.
students.
It's the
And I
conservatives
want to
driving
let
me
everybody
insane.
know that Clarence
Like
Darrow
in ways I
spent the
can't
rest
even.
of 1925 defending a student, a
This
college
is a
student.
sand slime
His
that I
name
mixed
was
with
Henry
a
Sweet.
jelly
And if you don't
slime.
know about his trial, you should read up about it.
And I'm enjoying it.
I don't have
The
time
sand
to
slime.
go into it today. No, I'm serious. It's a very profound and important part of American race relations. At any rate, Darrow
Conservatives
worked
are
together with
doing
the
nothing.
NAACP
They're
to
actually
get
making
Henry
it
Sweet
worse.
acquitted,
That's
and I'm
why
hoping for
conservatives are the
something
problem.
similar for
They make
all
everything
students,
worse.
not only in the face of the
They
law,
want these
but
people
in
to
the
win.
face of their own educational institutions. I want to paraphrase one of Darwin's most fiery pieces of rhetoric. He said of these students, quote, "They are as decent as anyone." Do you think they ought to be taken out of college and sent to jail? If you do, then do it. But it is not our job as faculty to do so. If these young people have committed any offense, it is being loyal and true to those whom they love.
Their only offense was
I
being
wish you all
too loyal.
peace, love, and I
Oh
wish
my
everyone
God.
forgiveness and compassion, most especially the young students who are facing disciplinary procedures. Thank you very much for being here and listening.
Exactly,
Thank
T-Bone
you.
Man.
We
I
have
feel the
one more
same.
speaker who's, I think, trying to make his way down. Marcel?
She's got a socialist haircut at like, what is her age? She's too old for a socialist haircut. I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you so much for gathering. Thank you so much for listening to us so respectfully and peacefully.
Is that it? Oh, no. Oh, she's going. Impromptu.
I'm Elizabeth Bernstein from the Department of Women's Gender and Sexuality.
Oh, God. Women's studies. Women's studies. No.
Elizabeth Bernstein from Women's Gender and Sexuality Studies at Barnard. I'm the executive committee of the Barnard AAUP. Thank you all for being here. I would just like to say before we conclude that there's going to be
She's part of the problem.
a procession to the Barnard
The enemy.
campus right now for whoever is interested in joining us.
This is
So
all
we can
her fault,
protest
basically.
The actions of the Barnard administration in suspending and evicting our students. So please come.
Thank you again for gathering to listen to us speak. I want to repeat that we are
Yeah,
here
they're real.
as a
They exist.
coalition of faculty.
I
We
was
are
in a
not
room with a
speaking
with a
on
bunch of them.
behalf of the
It was
faculty.
crazy.
Thank you so much, and good luck in class. Thank
All
you.
right. Let's see what happens now. That's the big faculty walkout. There's still a lot more live stream left to go. Guys, please mount the like button if you have not already. We're watching videos today from
to a
Columbia.
college demonstration. She brought a pistol to a college demonstration. Now she's here to harass pro-Palestine protesters. She
This
was
is the guy
arrested for
covering
bringing
the
a
news.
pistol to Brooklyn College to harass pro-Palestine protesters. She terrorizes students. That's Ina Vernikov.
Wow.
That's Ina Vernikov, who brought a pistol to Brooklyn College to harass the pro-Palestine students there. And she's being chased off right now.
This is the reporter being an activist and a snitch. They've developed their own police force, apparently. Hopefully we'll be able to see that. The students now have their own police and security force. They already have developed the Stasi. Well, it's not either of those things, Alex. It's anti-capitalism. It's a Marxist revolution. That's all they care about. They don't care about Israel. Not really. I mean, they kind of intentionally, but like. All right, let me see what else is on this stream. Is he going to give us an update? Okay. Socialists always breaking their cameras. Socialists suck at technology. No, you broke it, bro. You unplugged the wrong thing. No audio. Hang on, I'll fast forward.
Louder! Silence! We will not stop, we will not rest this close. Silence! We will not stop, we will not rest this close. Silence! We will not stop, we will not rest this close. Silence! We will not stop, we will not rest this close. Silence! We will not stop, we will not rest this close. Silence! We will not stop, we will not rest this close. Silence! We will not stop, we will not.
Look how big the crowd is. Getting bigger. Fast forward a little bit.
Just remember,
Okay.
we cannot let them silence faculty like they silence us, or they're trying to silence us.
All right. Oh, no, they're pro-revolution. They're absolutely pro-revolution. They talk about the revolution all the time.
Yeah, hello? Testing.
Yes, we hear you. Give us an update, please.
Let me just check in with Craig. Can you guys hear me on the live stream?
It would
Let me
get old
open up the
quick, I
live stream
think.
right now. BT Newsroom. We got audio. Okay, sorry about that. We're back.
Yeah, I'm positive some of them are involved.
All right, so that was just you just saw the student walkout in solidarity with the encampment. So we had students come from all over the campus. They left their classes, they left work, and they rallied at the center of campus here. And then that was followed by a faculty rally, and you heard over 100 faculty members denouncing the arrest specifically and the entrance, the Minu Shafiq allowing NYPD onto the campus here, and they were really furious, honestly. They said that they might have varying opinions on what's happening in Palestine. They might not see eye to eye on everything, but one thing they were all in agreement with was the fact that these arrests were just completely against the spirit of education, against the spirit of the university, against the alleged values of the university.
It doesn't matter. They talk about the revolution all the time. So we go based on hang on.
We also
So how I analyze information and how we approach things on my channel, which is different than many other channels, is the only thing I do is watch things happening in the real world right now. So I don't read philosophy papers. I haven't read like Capital. I haven't done any of that. And the reason for that is not that I can't if I wanted to, but I feel like a lot of people already have. And so there are people that are very good analysts in that regard. I'm not a philosophy analyst. I'm not going to go back and read academic papers. I'm not going to read Marcuse or Hegel or Derrida or any of those other people. What I do is I watch real world stuff. And what I can tell you is in the real world stuff, which I think is more predictive of what socialists are actually going to do now. They talk about revolution all the time. Every time you hear them say struggle, every time you see them put their fist in the air, that means the revolution to overthrow capitalism. So it doesn't really matter what Marx wrote about it or what Marx thought about it, because that's not what's happening in the real world right now. And it's not what they're talking about, and it's not what they're teaching each other. They may take a lot of stuff from Marx, and a lot of what Marx wrote may be perfectly predictive of how they're going to behave. But I think what they're talking about in the real world is actually more predictive. That's how I approach it.
So, Ina Vernikov was here, which is just random. She was actually standing right next to me. But she was the New York City councilwoman who brought a pistol to a Brooklyn College protest and was brandishing it on her hip. So I don't know what she was doing here. I don't know who let her on.
Oh,
But,
she was council lady. Oh, I know who that
total
is.
Double standard. You let a woman who brought a firearm to a college campus to intimidate pro-Palestine protesters, but people, press who are trying to cover the encampment, people who are trying to join the encampment out of solidarity with it are being barred and denied entry. So, quite absurd. But we're gonna head over to the encampment now. So just stick with us. I'm gonna give our lens a little wipe down. We said we needed it, right? I don't.
So the only
I don't know
reason
if this
apparently
will-
that these guys are still on campus is that they're
I don't know
sleeping
if that's
there.
better,
Otherwise, they
but-
get kicked off.
Okay, we're gonna head over to the encampment.
Allegedly.
But
No, those are
this
chairs
is
that
day
they're trying to set
6
up for
of the
graduation.
encampment,
Because they're
and,
supposed to hold
you
graduation
can
in this
see
exact same
the
place
tents
in
are
like
up. I
2
don't know if you could
weeks.
see it in the background, but the school allowed tents to go up, or they said that they
You
wouldn't
didn't
punish
sound
the students
argumentative.
if they put the tents
I didn't read it that way.
because the students were basically saying we're going to go forward with this, and you can't stop us. And I guess they were sort of feeling the pressure, so they
chairs.
they've now done that, and that's going to allow people to stay out much longer. It's going to protect them in the rain and the cold.
Well, exactly.
we're
I'm
headed
interested
over
to
to
see
the
what happens when
entrance
they get
here,
closer to graduation, because I don't think they're going to
where
leave before graduation.
there's a security checkpoint.
Look, okay, so the students are doing security.
Make our way
It's
in.
not the university, it's the students doing security. Watch. This is crazy. They have their own Stasi. They've closed off all the other entrances to their autonomous zone. And the students guard the entrance and they decide who can and cannot get in.
We were just in here. This is our food from inside the camp.
See, and now they're having to negotiate to get back in because they left.
Okay, that's
Do you have a spare? More over there. Okay.
Hey, we were just in here. Our stuff is
Exactly,
inside,
Kat. Well done.
I'm gonna have to go in this way. This is exit.
That is very true.
I can vouch for you. Yeah. Can you watch this exit? Make sure no one's coming in.
So we're just at we're at the security gate right now, just waiting to be let in.
Right.
Sorry, entrance only that way. Sorry. I know. I'm sorry. We just have to be very careful about who's coming in right now.
See, these are all students.
Yeah. We've been in. Yeah. Thank you. Sorry, we're
we're
They got in.
Thanks. Okay. What's What's your name?
And what you didn't see there is there's a giant sign of community agreements when you come into the autonomous zone.
I don't know if you have some time to just share with your I don't think I have. Oh, me too. No problem. But thanks. How are you doing? Hey, I'll send somebody your way. Okay, cool. Thanks. I'm looking for a place where I may be able to park this. News? Yeah. I think you'd need to find a tent. Like, we're basically set up.
See, they're sleeping there. That's what he's saying right now. Is like they're sleeping there. That's why they're allowed to be there. Let's fast forward a little bit. See if anything happens. Just kind of hanging out.
But the latest developments here are certainly the tents, which is the biggest, which is a huge victory. I was going to say the biggest victory, not the biggest victory, but definitely a big victory for the protesters, because for the last many nights it's been freezing. It's been really cold. It's been raining, and that has obviously thins out the numbers of the encampment. And what we've heard sort of over and over from people.
Yeah, well, you should come back. We do this basically 5 days a week, and so we help each other learn. So you're welcome to come back.
So
anytime. What we normally do on my channel, for people who might not know, is we go and do deep dives into far left training, and that's how we learn the language of socialists. That's how we learn how to break down what they're doing in the real world. We know the names of all the activists. We know the names of all the organizations. I've gone undercover at their events, so we're very highly focused on the real world. There is actually a communal kitchen. I haven't seen them show it on here yet, but there is actually a communal kitchen. Karl Marx is Marxism 1.0. There have been many updates to Marxism since Karl Marx died. I care more about Marxists living today than from a century ago. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it, Nuritu. Thank you. Amelia says, in terms of revolution, when do you figure these things will become more violent, and what kind of violence do you think we'll see when and if it kicks off? So I've talked about this a couple times. I have on my Substack like a breakdown of the timeline of the Marxist takeover, because I do think they're going to win. I don't think there's anything we can really do to stop it. And so I think I have videos on my channel too, but here's the too long didn't read. I think we have about 10 to 15 more years, like max. And I don't think there's going to be a significant amount of violence until the very end. Now, that's not to say there's not going to be violence. Like here and there's probably going to be more instances of here and there before, like, as we get closer to when they actually are ready to start their glorious revolution. But the thing is, and I could be wrong about this, so my premise is that I don't think the Civil War is going to be red versus blue, Republican versus Democrat. I think that the Civil War in America is going to be the radical revolutionary socialist versus the federal government. And that's where the violent revolution is going to take place, because they have to overthrow the federal government, because in order to do what they want to do, they need to abolish the Supreme Court, the Electoral College, the Senate, the House of Representatives, the Constitution. So the only way they're going to be able to do that is by overthrowing the federal government violently. I think they have people in sleeper positions all throughout the federal government. I think that once they start the violent revolution, it's going to go quickly. And I think it's going to be one of those things where it's just like they're not going to start it unless they know they can win it. You know what I'm saying? Or they know that they've got a pretty decent shot. So I think we've got 10 to 15 more years. I could be wrong. It is an educated guess, though. I'm not actually just like making up the timeline. There is logic behind it, and I've talked about that before. Carlin, have you heard of the FRSO, Freedom Road Socialist Organization? No, but I have heard about the Party of Socialism and Liberation. We've watched the Party for Socialism and Liberation for Socialism Saturday multiple times. The Party for Socialism and Liberation was the party that did the 6-hour socialism conference that we watched. It was the party where we got that clip where they flat out said that they were going to do the riots of 2020 again. I just put that up on my Twitter not too long ago. So yeah, the Party for Socialism and Liberation is involved in this. And I have a clip from them that I found last November where they're literally saying, we're going to do the George Floyd riots again, but we're going to do them bigger and worse this time. So I had them on video saying they were going to do this months ago, sent it around to all these conservative influencers. No one effing listened except for Liz Wheeler. And here we are. Anyway, Tayton says, if we bring in McCarthyism, can we just stop it? No, because that's never going to happen. That's not realistic. Let's see. Rottweiler says, not a gotcha, but it's kind of sad knowing these students will end up against the wall. Marxist revolutions devour its children first after consumption. Yeah, that's probably true, Rottweiler. Probably true. Thank you guys for the super chats. I do appreciate it. I'm no commie. I didn't think you were. Thanks for your time and your contributions to the world. I appreciate you, bro. Hope you'll be back. All right, let's watch a little more.
This concession from the university certainly, reflects the fact that they need more time. The university was initially saying that the only grounds for the second encampment would be if they didn't set up tents like this.
You can always watch the replay in the morning.
So,
it's all good.
It's
all
I'm assuming the
good.
university is looking for sort of more time to bargain, and there's an active bargaining process happening with the students, with some of the organizers here of the encampment. So we're gonna try to find some people here in the encampment who just want to talk about their experience. So please,
Mic check. Announcements. If you're not media trained, you should not be talking to press in the encampment. So that means they have media training that they're putting people through who want to talk to the press.
So you just heard an announcement there.
Think about that. That's crazy.
They really want to make sure that only people who are media trained are speaking to the press, which is very understandable. Makes our job a little trickier, but the number of people I've talked to who I'm like, hey, can I interview you? And they're like, sorry, I don't have the proper media training. I think really reflects the seriousness of the
they're
protesters here
incredibly organized. And they're incredibly disciplined. And this is why, to be honest, this is why it's so offensive to me when conservatives are like, they're mentally ill. They're not mentally ill. I'm sorry. They have very different values. They want different things in the world. That's very true. But to say they're mentally ill when they're doing legitimate media training on the fly, they're making sure no one's talking to the media that isn't trained in the way they want them to talk. We also heard the other day they were training people on what to do when they get arrested. They're probably doing all sorts of other I saw someone had a flyer on Twitter with they're handing out tips and tricks about how to be at this protest, what to do. They have a communal kitchen set up. This is within days, guys. They've done all this within a week. And you're going to tell me they're mentally ill? They're not mentally ill. They literally kicked off a giant nationwide protest movement that we're all going to have to suffer through. They're not mentally ill. And continuing to treat them as though they're mentally ill is only going to give them an advantage, because when you think your opponent is crazy, you behave very differently towards them than if you think that they are very sane, very hinged into reality, very focused, highly disciplined, highly organized. It's so stupid.
People who are designated for that. I think we might head over to the media corner to try to talk to some of the protesters who are media trained. Okay. So I think we're gonna move again back to the media corner. No. Do you want to go over there and grab it? Okay. All right. So we're gonna have someone run over and pull people in. But yeah, actually, so I was doing this the other day during our last live stream. But if there are any questions you all have for the protesters or anyone.
Oh,
we're
I
about to
appreciate
interview,
you,
please
Steve.
let
You're
us
very
know.
sweet.
Um,
Thank you for the wonderful compliment.
I'm happy to relay them, and I'm checking the comments here. I'm gonna grab some water real quick. Please bear with me.
I just hit my elbow on my desk. Oh God, that hurt. All right, let me fast forward a little bit. See what's going on. See if they can get some interviews or something. All right, let's see. Looks like there's an interview.
Would you mind to record this so we have
To a guy I met not too long ago. He's leading a training yesterday for.
Oh, I think
for
I saw a little bit of
a
this
new
interview
exchange
earlier.
day, which
This
I'll tell
guy
you
is a
guys about maybe after
trip.
this interview, or I'll ask
This
guy
guy
actually.
is a
But
trip.
they're finding someone to get a parallel recording of this interview. Yeah. Stand wherever you like. Just right here is good. Yeah, in front of the lens. So we're here with.
My name is I am now Clay. It's good to know you, Clay.
Kay, yes. So you've been here. I've seen you around. You're involved in Quad, yes.
Did anyone see, what is it called? Did anyone see Green Inferno? Green Inferno is like one of those horror like torture porn movies, and I like that stuff because I'm weird. And so the Green Inferno is a movie that's based off of a Cannibal Holocaust, which is a classic that everyone should watch at some point. If you haven't suffered through Cannibal Holocaust, and it's like a good type of suffering, if you like that sort of thing, like you need to watch Cannibal Holocaust. But Green Inferno was like kind of an homage to Cannibal Holocaust. It came out several years ago, and it's actually funny. It's basically about a group of student activists at a school just like Columbia who go into the Amazon to like do protesting, and they end up getting caught by a cannibal tribe and they get eaten in some really creative ways. But my point is, at the center of that movie, the leader of the leftist activists was like this like kind of like hippie, kind of like spacey above all of it guy. Maybe not totally hippie, but he definitely had that air of being like just above everyone else. This guy reminds me of the leader of the activists in Green Inferno. Like this is just the type of vibe he had, and it's like, it's creepy though.
That's right. I've been here since late Tuesday night, helping set up the original encampment.
Oh, great. That's cool. I've been here since Wednesday. So good to be here. I mean, this is honestly like crazy. I've been telling people I used to be. I was in SJP when I was in school.
So he's one of the leaders that set the
seeing
whole
something
thing up.
Like, like I never thought I'd see.
Just like in Green Inferno.
But yeah, maybe you could start by walking people through like how this idea came about. Like obviously you can spare all the details that need to be spared, but I know the university hasn't really moved on the issue of divestment at all, and some people have told me it came out of this sort of frustration with Columbia dragging their feet on this, right?
I bet he's great in bed though. These activist types always are.
Senate passed a resolution demanding that Columbia do exactly this, that they divest. The administration ignored the will of the students. We are here as a direct result.
I know that might sound weird, but like they're crazy.
Inflicting on Palestine. We will continue to be here until our demands are met.
That's great. So I guess were you one of the students that was arrested? Can you talk a bit about your experience? I mean, I think a lot of people, are very inspired by what you all did, and obviously, the whole country now is trying to emulate what's happening here. But, tell me about why are you so committed? Why are you willing to risk suspension and arrest and all these things for this cause?
Well, first I want to say thank you so much to all the people at Princeton and Yale and South Carolina and Boston and all the others whose names I don't yet know. The New School, NYU. Glad y'all are with us. It makes our struggle all the easier.
Is he from
all
Texas?
The greater for your participation. Second of all, I want to say that when Columbia, through force and through guile, utilized the NYPD against
Through
its own
force
students.
and guile.
It was a beautiful experience for us protesters. It really was. We sat down on the lawn, linked arms, made the police come to us. And when they dragged us off to those correctional vans that Columbia so kindly furnished us with, we were singing songs of the revolution, hymns and spirituals, all the way down to the jailhouse, all the way through processing, and all the way through the holding cells. Cops didn't know what to do with us.
Mm.
In terms of why I'm willing to risk these things, this is no risk at all. You got to understand, like, for all of
Yes.
the problems of U.S.
Janet,
empire,
another great
we still
example.
have relative freedom
He
compared
is.
to a lot of the people of planet Earth. And so it's incumbent upon us from our position of relative privilege to take every risk and every action we possibly can to ensure the liberation of all free human beings of the earth, especially those living under empire.
Oh
How'd
my
you
God, what is this
learn
kid's
about the issue of
name?
Palestine? I
This
mean,
kid's gonna be a
you know,
problem.
how has it been the last
We need to
6
start
months? I
tracking
mean,
him
was there a moment where
immediately.
you decided, hey, like, I can't sit by on the sidelines anymore and just watch this. Like, I have to get involved.
Yeah, so obviously the conflict, the ongoing genocide and displacement of the Palestinian people has been occurring since before I was born. And this is not new news. This is only new to those who were deprived of a historical education, to those of us who were deprived of the real story of empire. So for the last
Holy
few years,
shit!
I'm from Kentucky. I've been engaged in organizing locally, and through these organizing groups, I've come to find out about international struggles. At my graduation from Eastern Kentucky University last
Graduate student.
spring, with 2 bachelors and an associate's, I stood on my chair with a Palestinian flag painted on my cap, and I held a fist of solidarity during the national anthem. I turned my back to the flag. I refused to recognize the legitimacy of the U.S. empire.
Whoa!
Be my last.
Can you talk a little bit about the university's treatment of the protesters? Obviously, that's, you know, that's really magnified the support for this struggle is just the level of repression. Can you walk us through the timeline? I don't think people have the full picture. Obviously, many people saw the arrests, but
Yeah.
Even before that, I mean, for the last 6 months,
Me
they've
too.
been toying with protesters, basically. Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. So our chapters of SJP, which is the Students for Justice in Palestine, and JVP, which is Jewish Voice for Peace, were both suspended from the university. The clubs were both suspended from the university because we held emergency protests to address the pressing and cutting issues of our
Zero.
time.
None.
And we as Quad, that's CU, Apartheid, Divest, we've taken over some of the organizing with, in association with, and on behalf of these groups. In terms of police repression, important thing to know is that Tuesday night, this is Wednesday morning, we set up our initial encampment. That morning, Columbia came out to the lawn threatening the use of the NYPD if we did not move. We held our ground, and they ran scared. They had to call in the NYPD to brutalize their own students, and this happened Thursday afternoon after beautiful bouts of chanting and of song and of spirituals with hundreds and hundreds of student observers.
I think we
circled
found the
around our
Gnostic sex
encampment,
cult, guys.
watching
We
as
found
the
them.
NYPD was
It's this
brought in
guy.
to brutalize their peers.
That was a really amazing moment. I was there on the outside, and people were just chanting like, let them go, free Palestine." I mean, what was going through your head at that moment?
There was only freedom on my mind. There was only Palestine on my mind. It is a glorious thing to resist.
You know, one thing that I know you're aware of is people in Gaza and people in the West Bank are watching this. They're sharing this. They're, you know, fully in support of this. You know, if you could say anything to them, what would you say?
I would say that we see you, that you are liberating us. You are giving us the courage to resist this empire and to bring it down piece by piece. I would say furthermore that you have allies all around the world, including in the belly of empire. And I would shout out my siblings in Yemen and in Syria and in Lebanon and in all of the countries of the Middle East that have been so horribly affected by the galling and inexcusable imperial campaigns of the U.S.
This guy's a future cult
One last
leader,
question.
guaranteed.
Obviously, sorry. I know graduation's coming around. We've got all the
True.
bleachers set
I
up.
bet he's
We've
awesome
got
in
these
bed.
floor slats in the background aggressively pushed
Oh,
up right
I
to the fence of
definitely
the
dated
encampment.
guys like this in college.
For those who don't know, graduation at Columbia takes place right here on this lawn, in addition to the other lawn. So they need this to graduate, yes? But you guys aren't going to leave either. So any comment on that?
That is correct. That's another show of weakness on the part of this illegitimate university. They have at every
Illegitimate
turn
university.
shown their cowardice and shown their inability to engage fruitfully with our group, with our movement, and with the free human beings of planet Earth. They have continually responded with fear. And because they are illegitimate, because they have sought so hard to destroy these beautiful things,
All
which
the
we,
women love
people,
him.
have
I
created,
guarantee it.
we find
All
that
of
their
them.
graduation is illegitimate. We will be here until our demands are met, and they can do what they will.
Graduation is illegitimate.
Well, it
Wow.
sounds like Columbia University has a maybe not so tough choice to make. Divest or have the most interesting graduation they've had in quite some time.
That's true. They can be on the right side of history, or they can be on the wrong side of history, and we'll remember either way.
We'll remember either way. Well, it's sure to be a memorable graduation this year.
God,
Thank
he
you
looks
so much,
exactly
brother.
like
Appreciate
someone I
you.
slept with in college,
Yeah.
and it's
Loving all
freaking
these
me out.
people.
It's
Peace,
I slept
love,
with basically him in
joy,
college.
and resistance forever.
Oh,
Revolution.
one more
Basically
thing.
him.
So I actually met this
It's
friend of mine
genuinely freaking me out.
during yesterday, which was Admitted Students Day. Can you just explain to the viewers what Admitted Students Day
It was really good in bed,
what
too.
it is and what happened yesterday?
Yeah, so the students who were admitted to Columbia University usually are invited for a day of fun and enjoyment across the entire campus where they can survey where they'll be going to school. And because the university is so cowardly and is so fearful of this movement, they restricted all admitted student day activities to Learner, which is the dining hall, which is a tiny building at the corner of campus, specifically so that the admitted students would not come out and engage with us. But we cut them off at the pass. We had the welcoming committee out on the
Don't tell
front,
me what to
out
do,
on
new wrinkle
Broadway,
on the brain.
making sure that every new student understands that this is a radical institution, that the great proportion of the student body is radical, and that if they are not so oriented toward real social justice and real
I
global
am.
justice,
It's creeping me
as
out,
opposed to
Reagan.
the facade of social justice put
I'm
up by
having a
liberal institutions,
flashback to really
perhaps
good
they would
sex I
find
had
a
in
better home
college.
elsewhere. They'd be better suited somewhere else.
Live on the internet
Can
at
you
2 a.m.
Can you tell us a little bit about that facade of justice that goes on here? I mean, I hear all the time about the values of Columbia University. I mean, what kind of stuff do they talk about?
Well, it's deeply hypocritical. Deeply hypocritical. I mean, first and foremost, military industry investment is inexcusable for any institution, but especially one that claims to care about social justice. We've got an ecology and sustainability program that is essentially a smokescreen by which private venture capital can slap a sticker of approval, environmental safety on their ventures.
What?
And what's
Did he just
more,
confess that the university is engaging in fraud?
this claims to be an institution
Seriously?
of academic freedom. And when we showcase and practice our academic freedom, they bring the hammer down. So we are a nail that cannot be driven, and I hope they understand that.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate your time, and thanks for everything you're doing.
Yeah, thanks, Breakthrough. You guys are great.
Okay, so we're just gonna turn back to the encampment here. This is day 6, I believe.
Oh, he needs to get
Day
off camera
6.
now. I'm
Day
having
6
a
of the
moment.
encampment, and we're
Thank
just
God, it's
continuing
gone.
to watch what
Yo.
has become a historic movement, historic student movement. As of right now, I think there's UNC, Yale, NYU, the New School here in New York City, MIT, Tufts. There's some other schools in Boston. I saw a die-in at Harvard University. But all around the country, this
When
movement
that
has
guy
spread,
becomes a
and
cult leader
I'm
in
sure
10,
there are
15
schools out
years,
there
I'm going to
that
be
are
totally
planning
fucked with these clips.
similar actions right now as we speak. So,
All right.
we're going to stay
All right.
with Columbia here.
All
which
right.
is the
I think that's enough. We got 2 hours into a 4-hour live stream. Let me just scrub through the stream quick and see if anything else significant happens. I don't think anything else did. Couple more interviews. I think we saw the best parts. All right. I'm sorry, Steve just got here, but it's 2 a.m. And I think that the interview with that kid is like as good a place to end this on as any. But that was fun, guys. Thank you for hanging out to watch the Columbia faculty walkout with me. I will be back tomorrow. I don't know what you're talking about, Joseph. I don't know what you're talking about. It's fine. Don't worry about it. All right, I'm going to bed. Take care, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.